Hey guys, I want to bring you another YouTube video. I know it's been a while. I've been kind of sick, especially with what happened last week. Um, Good thing, like I said, I wanted to be able to take some time, gather my thoughts, especially with Charlie Kirk. Um, Especially being a Christian, it was really hard to fathom something like this, and especially as an American in 9/11. So I wanted to talk about it sooner, but probably figured it was going to be really hard for me and probably get emotional. I don't think I've ever been emotional for someone that I didn't know personally, but I've always seen him debate and stuff like that. And my issue with it was that in America, you would never imagine having different point of views. And again, I can't say that I agree 100% with Charlie Kirk or 100% with anybody. In fact, if you could say that you could agree with someone 100%, then, well, um, there is an issue there because you can't always agree 100% with what anyone could say or believe in. And that's the beauty of debate and stuff like that. That's what I always thought. What made America great, where you could share your differences. Charlie Kirk did not debate people that always agree with him. He debated with and go to the lion's den of college campuses or debate with anyone that wanted to share and try to figure out people's different views. And just like I don't agree with Gavin Newsom because I lived in California and his policies aren't great, but I really respect it where those two kind of debate each other. Because again, if you're coming from left or right, I think that's what's going to make America great back then, was where you could debate and you're not going to have anything like this go down. That's what's really sad because, especially having kids, to see Charlie Kirk's kids younger than my kids, those kids are never going to remember their dad because the daughter is 3 and the son, I believe, is 1, which is almost the same age difference with my kids. But I remember when my kids were 3 and 1, they're not going to remember. If something happened to me at that time, they're not going to remember. And the 3-year-old might remember the first year, but as they get older, they're not going to remember anything of their dad. That's the sad part. And they'll always be able to watch YouTube, and maybe that's why I figured I always shared or even talk. If my kids wanted to see videos of me or anything like that, that's how they could see and watch. The other thing that's really sad, again, is for his wife. He's very young. He's actually younger than me. That's the other thing. And people change and learn things over the time. And that's the other thing, because my birthday was recent, and I feel like he's accomplished more than I have in that sense, also, and he's also a Christian martyr in that sense, also, and political martyr. But and I always admired where he was a pretty smart and be able to articulate very well. Even during the election, I remember one of the videos where he said you should use your voice because this election was going to be very important. You could look back again. I use facts and information of what you could find and what I believe in. And so, again, I would side more on Charlie Kirk views and point of view in that sense. And that's where I guess my concern, it's almost like for that person to shoot Charlie Kirk is almost like why I think a lot of Christians are afraid, and he was the voice of the voiceless. I felt like, because Charlie Kirk was going based on what's in the Bible, and so it's not a, I felt like, was a hate or anything. Some people would say, "Oh, he's probably arrogant." I would say, yeah, that's possible, because my wife always says tone is possible, and sometimes you're not aware of that, and that is possible that some people could view of his tone or how he is confident or arrogant. Some people see confidence or arrogance could be sometimes almost similar. So I, and some people even said the same thing with Vivek, which Vivek toured with Charlie for a little bit to do those campus tours. So that is my thought for Charlie Kirk. Was it was very sad. I feel like God's probably going to have used him for a purpose of this, and I feel like, especially going to church this past weekend, our pastor mentioned Charlie. I've seen other churches talked about Charlie. So again, I don't know if that is a reason. I've seen some people from the left the Democratic Party for cheering to see someone go down for the way it went down. I don't agree that it should, like, any political violence should ever go down on either side, especially in America. I mean, that seems more common, you would think, to third world country, or take out your opponent or anything like that. I feel like, if, and that's what's very shocking here, is that, and I think I also heard Ben Shapiro thought the same thing, why he's not afraid of his life for that reason, is because this is America, and never in a million years you would think this would happen here, because there's freedom of speech. You don't think violence would ever happen for just having a different point of view. And you should always be able to communicate. And if there's no communication, then things falls apart, and that's where violence could take place. And I don't know if that's why. I never heard Charlie or anyone says, when they're debating, or been like these different people that debate on the other side, where they're saying, "I hate you," like those strong words. Again, people interpret things the way they want, and that's part of debate and the beauty of it. Like, okay, do you really think that he was spewing those hateful words? I guess. Again, I think it was different, but again, I've never agreed with anyone 100% on anything. But again, if you're thinking, whoever, say if you're on the left, is there someone that you agree 100%? And if you do agree with that, okay, who is that one person that you agree 100%? Or do you agree 100% with your spouse? That's why marriage is hard, and that's why you cannot say you agree 100% with anyone, because you're going to always have disagreement or arguments. It's the same thing in a marriage. You should be able to communicate with anyone outside also, without violence. So that's my take. I feel like there's going to be more people that's going to be still trying to keep that idea that Charlie had of debating and keeping and having that open mind and communicate. If you guys ever want to communicate and debate and talk about everyone's differences, I'm open to it, even here on YouTube. As long as we keep it civil. I don't really believe, again, I've seen some people, some friends that couldn't make a point, but then start name call, because that's the only thing they could do. all I ask is for facts or information, and then it's like, okay, I could see the other point of view. I think we gotta be at this point, like, be able to agree to disagree, and hope that this country does get back together on being civil, and hope that this will take care of things. But we'll see over time. But we'll see what makes good out of this. I, I'm more of an optimistic person. I really hope something good comes out of this, and hope that we'll be able. And I always sign up. Together, we can always build a better tomorrow, and I still believe in that. And let me know. Go ahead and like and hit that comment button of what you think of everything that happened this past week. And I appreciate you staying till the end if you did. And thanks again.